Yeah.
All right. It's time to get into discussion that will probably ding us in the algorithm.
Probably.
Yep.
But it's got to be had. It's got to be had. We all watched the debate last night. I assume a lot of people out there watching our show watched the debate last night. We got a lot of smart people out there watching our show. That was not the best one.
I mean, I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what to say. How do you begin this conversation, Pete?
I don't know. I mean, it was from the second the candidates took the stage.
Walking out.
Walking out
Yeah.
was like, what happened? Go move to the podium. Oh, my God.
He got confused getting to the podium. He looked at it, he said, and when he got to the podium, he says, is this the one? Is this it?
Oh,
Did you hear
I
him?
missed
Did you hear
that.
him?
I went to
Yeah.
go get some chips.
No.
Oh.
He said, am I at the right one? He said something like, am I at the right one?
This is not nice. This is horrible.
Yeah, so from the very beginning,
Tim Gauze, damn it. That was funny. Old Roomba Joe.
What did he say?
Old Roomba Joe.
Yeah.
Tim Gauze, don't make me pee. God
Not
sakes.
a bad description.
They put some of those dust cleaners on his feet. He had cleaned up the stage for him.
He's got bumpers like they do at the bowling lane just to keep him going to the right place.
Man. It was sad.
It was sad.
kind of sad. It
It was
honestly
so
was kind of sad.
sad.
You felt like you were watching your grandfather who's just not got much time left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, his very first question, you kind of thought, okay, he might be able to handle an answer.
Yeah.
But then from there was not a question that he answered where he didn't stumble his way through it and not make sense at some point. I mean, there were points where Jake Tapper and Dana Bash were just cutting him off for his own good.
The abortion question, which is a softball question for the Democrats.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump answered, and it's like his time. Okay, he's should be good, and he switched it over to the border, which is the weakest one that the Democrats are on. Like right in the middle, and then he rambled, and Tapper's like, "Oh, okay,
Okay, thank you."
They just turned off his microphone. It's like, "Oh, you blew that one."
Yeah, they really did. I mean, the announcers were really handling him with kid gloves. I gotta say, it went totally different than a lot of people were expecting.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people were really expecting, and I gotta give credit to the CNN moderators, they really didn't jump in much. They didn't interfere much in the actual debate. They kind of asked the questions and got out of the way and gave people their time, which I think not a lot of people expected, but I thought they did a fairly good job of moderating the debate, but they were really, I mean, there were tons. I think when Joe Biden said something about we're gonna battle Medicare.
No, beat Medicare. We beat Medicare. What's that mean?
What does that mean? And then they're like, okay, thank you.
And then Trump goes, I don't think he knows what he said.
No, I don't know what he just said.
I don't think he knows what he just said.
Yeah, I mean, when he said that, it's like, oh, okay.
I know.
And I'll tell you what, that was really his only dig. I mean, he could have really laid in.
I thought he was very controlled.
Trump didn't lay in because he knew what America was seeing.
Yes. And he kind of had the expression on his face was kind of the expression on all of our faces that were just like,
yeah,
his face spoke 1,000 words last night.
Like this poor man.
Yeah.
Like this poor guy.
That's the only good point that Biden made, I think, in the entire hour and 40 minutes or however long it was Biden made a statement that said that 40.
Yeah, that's a good Biden impression. That's a good solid.
Do you have a cold? You have it's a small cold.
Yeah.
I need a loss.
You're right, Troy. That was the best point he made. Last day.
Pete for the win.
We'll just end it right there. No, but when he made the statement that 40 of the 44 cabinet members won't endorse Trump again, and that's pretty telling. Like the personality of that guy too. But that's the only one. He had an hour and 40 minutes.
And 3 minutes of policy was discussed. That bothers me too, because that's it. I want to know what their platforms are. I really didn't get a clear picture from either one of them on that.
And Trump, and every time Trump didn't like the question, he answered 2 questions ago.
Well, and that's a political move. I mean, we see that all the time.
100%.
You know, that's a politician thing.
He knew he was in a safe place, So he went into Trump literally went into prevent defense. He's like, he's like, and if Trump has another debate, he's crazy.
There's not going to be another debate.
He's crazy.
September, I thought.
They're both crazy to do another debate.
Yeah.
They're both crazy to do another debate. It can only, I mean, you can't, the president of the United States cannot go out there and have a performance like that again. I mean, if they didn't, I would say if they didn't lose confidence in him after that one, but they did. I mean, as soon as CNN cuts back to their panel, I mean, the instant they cut back, there's talk of replacing the president of the United States. They're saying the Democrats, they were basically, and I flipped around a lot of channels, NBC, CNN, and just all the different channels, and every single news anchor was saying 3 minutes into that debate, I'm getting texts like I've never seen before. Saying from the Democrats panicking. They were panicking and saying we have to get somebody else in there.
So dabbling in hypotheticals was something that we don't love to do on this show, but I do have that question of what happens then. Let's just say hypothetically he steps down and somebody comes in. Do the Democrats even have a chance then?
No.
It would be very tough because nobody has momentum.
I mean, you know, and I don't think it's going to happen. I did see where Rebecca said it. And I said it, you know, in the 2020, you know, Michelle Obama is still extremely loved. And, you know, but that would be such a desperate move. I still think.
I don't think she would do that to her.
I think it's too late in the game for something like that. But
Gavin Newsom seems to be the guy.
Oh my God, he was the pre-show. Please, can he get a haircut?
Pre-show, he was post-show. Everybody wanted an interview with him right after the show.
Poor me, another.
Yeah, I mean, and people have been saying it for months that if Joe Biden drops out, Gavin Newsom's the guy.
Well, I can tell you, Gavin Newsom lost all credibility because in the pre-show he was saying I was with him 2 weeks ago and how alert he was and how
he lost a lot of credibility. You're right.
And Gavin Newsom just outright lied.
Yeah,
because what I saw last night didn't happen because he had a cold.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of the cover they were trying to throw over the whole situation was, hey, he went out there and did that with a cold. I'm sorry, but a cold doesn't make you that incoherent.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
You know, networks like CNN and NBC have been providing cover for weeks, calling these fake clips that people are putting out there of Joe Biden looking old and acting old. And then we see it last night in an hour and a half long. There's no cutting clips. There's no what do they call them? Something fake. I don't even know what they call them now, but there was none of that. It was a straight, they put a spin on deep's fake on the word deep. I don't remember what it is, but cheap fakes. They're calling them cheap fakes.
Cheap fake.
Where they're pretending like people are taking these little snippets of the president and acting like he's an old frail man. We saw it for an hour and a half last night. And like you said, Troy, it was sad more than anything. It was honestly sad.
If you didn't watch the very end, like where Trump
was trying to get off stage.
Trump walked off to the right, and him coming down the steps.
Yeah.
It was 3 steps, maybe 2, and he could barely make it down the steps and back up the steps to Tapper.
Jill was helping him, and a production assistant from CNN was helping him.
He had one on each side, holding him, and he couldn't manipulate the steps without a handle.
And just the blank stare on his face through most of the debate. I mean, you look over at him, and he's looking down, and there's nothing in his eyes. There's just no life in his
There's
eyes.
no passion. There's nothing. And
I mean, at this point, rationally, I mean, I think really his wife needs to step in and say, we need to find other arrangements for Joe. I mean,
go out more graciously.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's clear that he has no more support. I mean, he just doesn't have any support in the Democratic Party anymore, and they don't want him to be the nominee. Now, that we've got some time for that to change. They've got some time to get in there and swap somebody out. But again, nobody's going to have the momentum. I think, Troy, to your point, Michelle Obama is the only person that could step in there and possibly
that could
win.
Create a competition. I think it's even too late now.
I agree.
And I can tell you one thing I want to watch, and just because I'm one of those guys, I just can't vote for Trump. And I know people are going to be angry because I'm a business person and stuff like that. But what I saw him do to the vice president on January 6th, and thinking of a guy who stood by his side the entire time, it'd be like me calling the cops on you, for something ridiculous. I mean, it was just horrible what he did to Pence.
What did he do?
Well, he basically tried to force Pence to break the law on signing the document on certifying the election, and that's what happened on January 6th. And he that's why that mob was going after Pence, and Pence had to go almost into protection after that.
I think there were a lot of things that I'm not going to get into that discussion. Yeah. That's a whole other topic. But there was a lot going on there. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, loyalty to a friend. Like, and you and I have been together a long time. I would never do that to you.
Yeah.
I would.
Well, you and I would never be president and vice president.
I don't think.
Let's be honest. We would never be in that position.
Are any of them genuine friends? I don't think any of them are friends.
I tell you what.
Right. There's no friends in politics.
You and I aren't electable, but we're more electable than the two guys on stage.
Oh, that I can agree with. Yes.
Our country's not in a good place. And the best interview last night was Van Jones, who's worked with Biden, who's friends with Biden. And I think it truly was his first realization.
He looked very sad.
His first realization of he's not capable of being president.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last night showed it like I can't even imagine.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was very, very telling when they came back to CNN. I mean, Van Jones, I mean, one of the things he said was that it was horrible. He said, one of the quotes from him was, it's time for this party to figure out a better way forward if he'll allow us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already, I'm sure, sentiment, people in Joe Biden's ear saying, sir, we need to make way for somebody who can handle this.
The question is he going to take that or not? I mean, he's the one that has to make that decision.
But
is he competent to make that decision?
How many decisions he's making right now? You look at the guy who spoke last night. Would you let him make any decisions for a company that you ran? I mean,
no.
Let alone would you let him make decisions for the entire country? He's not making the decisions. That guy is not the guy in the war room. That guy is not the guy negotiating with Putin. That guy's not the guy making things happen in the United States right now. And I think that has become very, 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 very clear and very scary. Because who is? Because it's not that guy.
Blake just put in the comments, we flipped over to Jon Stewart, who's, very liberal.
Yeah.
And
I saw that too. Yeah.
His line was, Biden looked like he was having resting 25th Amendment face.
Yeah, they've been throwing that line out there for months now. They've been really chumming the waters on that 25th Amendment. They really have. And
I never thought it would be necessary until last night. And I was like, this can't happen.
There has been rumblings of them replacing him anyway. And a lot of people have thought, well, maybe this was just part of the Democratic game plan, was to get him out there and get the country on board to see how bad of shape he's in so that there will be no pushback in replacing him. I don't know. One of the panelists on CNN, a quote from them was, how could you do that to him if you loved him? Mm-hmm. Talking about Jill and probably his family.
It was the ball guy over to the left. And he was just like, this. How did we get here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody else had to know this.
When CNN says Trump won a debate, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. Mm. And again, I think at the end of the day, it was kind of sad to watch. I mean, I was texting with my brother back and forth, and half of the debate was just comedic. I mean, it really was. And then you kind of come to the realization, like, okay, this guy's not okay. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy is not mentally and physically fit. He's not
only
there.
A couple years apart.
3.
Yeah.
3 years
and there is a stark contrast between those two guys. Yeah. I mean, there really is in the mental stability. I mean, there really, really is. And that was really on full display last night. It was very interesting, the timing of this debate, because they could have done this after conventions, but they didn't do this after conventions. So this is, again, kind of like a situation where this gave the whole world an opportunity to see this guy just kind of try and figure his way through a very important situation, and he just was not up to the task. And this does give them time to make a replacement. This does give them time to change the nominee, that seems like it's unprecedented. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Well, and I talked a little bit about it. In 1972, McGovern picked a vice president. They didn't vet very well and stuff like that. His vice president like when they find out he had actually had a lobotomy, the vice president. So he tried to switch vice presidents. Now that happened like in July. I mean, we're only talking, a couple weeks away, but that happened like July or August, and he tried to switch, and
That it wasn't successful.
No, it was the worst. It was by far the biggest blowout out there. So I think he only won one state, and it was South Dakota. So I think he got like 3 electorals or something like that.
Wow.
Nixon crushed him.
Yeah.
So switches aren't good in the American eye.
Well, they need something,
but they can't stay with.
He won't win.
They can't keep riding this horse. I can tell you that.
There's no shot he wins if he's the nominee. There's no shot.
I want to
nobody, even Biden fans, can't look at that and say, "Yeah, I have confidence in him leading the country or even being alive for another 4 years." Let's be honest.
And one of the CNN people said, if you vote for Biden, you're actually voting for Kamala being your president.
Yeah.
But I want to see what happens with Robert Kennedy's numbers and STOITM and all those numbers.
That'll be interesting.
That are in the same situation where I'm at, where I'm just like, 300 million people, we got these two. I wouldn't, I don't even, I mean, they're president and I honor the position, but it's just sad. I mean, it's sad. I was very genuinely sad last night myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's how most people walked away from that debate, is kind of sad and a little bit worried because it just seems painfully obvious now that somebody with that mental capacity cannot actually be pulling the strings up in DC right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to that guy and saying, "Hey, Joe, we have an important decision on the table. We need you to make this call." That's just not happening. Nobody's doing that in Washington, D.C. It's going to be very, very interesting, man. If it is a Trump versus Biden candidacy at the end of the day, this is going to be a landslide.
It's not close.
No,
I mean,
not at all. To your point though about RFK, it was interesting because the person whose numbers went up the most last night was Gavin Newsom. Actually, kind of live within the first couple of hours of the debate ending. Robert F. Kennedy's numbers didn't really fluctuate that much. He's still kind of down there, but this is really a time for him to rally. If he can find a way to get his foot in the door, and that's going to be hard because the entire political machine's working against him.
For president right now.
Well,
right now at this very minute.
In California,
he's been posturing to do it for a few months now. Though. Yeah. I think there have been internal conversations in D.C. that have said, if Joe's gone, we want Gavin to step up.
The only way Gavin gets it is Joe has to voluntarily step down.
Right.
Joe is voted. It's not like they can just put him in. Joe has to say, "I'm stepping down." And I'm not so sure that's going to happen.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen either.
Do you not think it would be easy to talk someone with that mental capacity into doing almost anything?
This is a prideful guy when he's lucid.
When he's lucid, when is he lucid though? Yeah. I mean, I just haven't seen evidence of that in months.
He did like a post-debate speech, and he looked super alert. I don't know about super. I don't know if they boosted him. I don't know if they boosted him with something as he walked past or something. Well, but he looked
Adderall.
He looked conscious.
He looked slightly better than he did on the debate. I will give you that. But boy, did you hear his wife kind of give him the intro like, "Congratulations, you answered all the questions." That was scary. That was scary.
I didn't see this part.
Yeah. So,
well, I mean, it's very telling when Jon Stewart was like, "Oh my."
Yeah.
Everybody turned against the president of the United States. Everybody that was on his side turned against him that night. I mean, within minutes of really the debate starting, it was very clear for them that they had to find somebody else. And all the news anchors from your Chuck Todds to your John King were all saying, I was getting an unbelievable amount of text messages from high-level Democrats saying there has to be a change. And they were freaking out and they were panicking. I've never seen anything like that before. I've never seen anything like that before. I thought the good drinking game would have been if everybody would have drank every time he said the idea that, and then whatever he said that to start almost every single response. That was the drinking game, Davey. You were talking about drinking games earlier. That was the drinking game.
That was definitely a drinking
None
game.
of us would have been at work if we were drinking at that point.
I say we just have a long drive contest, and whoever wins that, then,
Well, you're not a Trump guy, and you know who would win that.
Yeah. Well, at least that decision's not on me. I still didn't vote for it.
That was the best part of the debate. I was laughing my ass off at that part of the debate when they were arguing over the golf swings and the handicaps
that's a debate that happens in every country club all over the country. Yeah. Every Saturday, Sunday morning, you're old, you can't hit it straight.
But he couldn't even remember his handicap from 4 seconds ago.
Yeah.
6 or 8, one of the
right.
two.
It started off 6, then it went to 8. I mean, within seconds of each other.
If you're a golfer and you're about to gamble, you go from a 6 to an 8 really quick because you're going to take those extra strokes.
But you're in a presidential debate. There's so many people that don't know anything about golf. What are they talking about? Exactly. Why would they do the low blow shot with the porn star thing too? Why are we talking about that? Talk about the country. Talk about what we're going to do. Yeah. I don't care about their personal life. I know he's a convicted felon. That's none of my business. I don't care about that.
He was in panic mode, and it was just bad.
You could tell when he was giving panic answers and kind of throwing insults out there. And to Trump's credit, he was very level-headed. He was very calm. He was very cool, very collected, and it was actually an unusual Trump that we saw.
But no,
last night.
He was the CEO, and he was just given the rope.
Yes,
and he's like, okay, you got the rope.
Yeah,
and he was given the rope, and he's still a CEO. He reads and counter punches, and he knew all he had to do was stay standing, and he had that.
He knew stay low in the weeds. That's how he played it.
People,
and I hate siding with him. I'm not a big fan of him either.
And that's where I'm at too. I think Trump's going to win, and I think our country's going to be in a better financial situation. But personally, just I can't do it, and I'm not going to be able to do it. But this debate last night reminds me of how Kennedy actually won in '60, where Nixon refused to wear makeup.
I remember this. He looked sickly.
Yeah, he looked anemic. Because cameras, kind of whiten you out a lot, and he didn't look well. And people saw Kennedy as youthful and strong, and Nixon as weak. And last night, weak is probably the biggest understatement you can make.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't want to say incompetent, but that man is not running our country right now. No. I'm not sure who is, but it's not that man.
No.
So
come on, Judge Judy. Come on.
You are always advocating for
I just love her. Taught me so much. Be a man.
I mean, she would have been better on that stage.
Woo, she would have been sharp.
She would have been, but almost anybody would. I mean, a 12-year-old could have been better on that stage. And I'm not even trying to be mean.
Like spelling bee champions, I'm thinking,
Yeah, man. Oh, that was sad. Again, it was really just sad. At the end of the day, you really felt like you're watching your grandfather wither away.
So let me ask you guys this question. Do you think last night, did that move the needle for anybody that was undecided going into that debate?
Oh, yes. Without a doubt.
I can tell you this. I was very adamant that I wasn't voting for either one going in. And it made me, even last night, I was still thinking about it. I was like, if there's a chance that Joe's winning, I might have to vote for Trump. But I don't think that's a chance anymore. And I don't think, I just can't throw my endorsement behind somebody I don't believe in at all. And I voted for the guy twice already. After what happened, I just can't do it again. So people are like, oh, well, you just hate Trump. No, I voted for him twice. And I thought he did a good job on his policies, but I can't personally do it this time. But if it's close, I might have to question that. And I think I'm pretty stubborn and strong. And there's a lot of people in the middle where they're just like, okay, I figured out who my guy is.
Right.
And it's over.
Yes.
I think it's over. Like, unless it's Beyonce or
Beyonce,
Obama, or
Beyonce
Taylor-
ain't even helping. The Beehive is not even correct in this situation.
Taylor Swift, Beyonce, one of them run. The Democrats might jump over.
Yeah.
So I mean, it might be some idiocracy stuff that's going to go on here, and it's.
I think
Joe can't win.
No, he can't. I think to your point earlier, Troy, the only shot, the only Hail Mary they have to win on the D side is throwing Michelle Obama in there. And I don't know that that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But that is the only prayer they have.
It doesn't. It would be if she went after it and lost, it would hurt her more than if
That's
she
true.
Same thing happened to Hillary. I mean,
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder what she thought last night, Hillary. I'm seeing memes of her being backstage, put me in, coach. But she really, after she lost, she literally just checked out of a lot of the public
because that was her entire goal for her political career was to be the president of the United States. And, when she lost that opportunity, there was no reason for her to continue in politics.
Right.
I mean, there just wasn't. She just didn't actually care about it enough.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, she was probably thinking, I could have done better than that.
Right. That's what I'm going at.
Yeah. So, woo. Yeah. I think that shifted a lot of people's.
Every
I think
swing
that
state
brought a lot of people over to Trump. I really do.
Every swing state just went red. And I can tell you right now, every governor who has an election who's a Democrat that's close is distancing themselves from him as far as they can. Send it down, some of those down things and stuff like that. This hurt the entire Democrat Party.
Big time.
So, I mean, it just, because they've been hiding this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they've been going out of their way to hide this. Boy, the tone of that panel definitely changed from pre-debate to after debate. You could feel the energy was gone from that room after the debate. And then the one Republican sitting over there, in the corner was just like, told you so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he was happy.
Yeah.
But I mean, get that man some help. Get him out of office. Get that man some. Let him live a decent rest of his life. I mean, stop trotting him out there in front of TV cameras. Just get him out of here. Get him into a place where he's going to have a comfortable rest of his life.
You're president of HOA or something.
We'll get you a good museum.
Don't even do that. I don't even want him president of the HOA.
I don't think that's happening either.
Rotary Club, maybe. I mean, service above self.
Nope. Yeah. No.
All right. Well, there it is.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it was I've never seen anything like it as far as debates go.
Really?
Never.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just never seen anything that lopsided. Even Dukakis.
I was just thinking Dukakis.
Even Dukakis in '88 wasn't that bad.
I was just thinking sweaty Dukakis.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much more we can actually say, but I think we've beat this thing to death. But it was not. It did not instill confidence in people in where we are, who we have as a leader right now, and this whole process going forward. It was scary and it was sad. And get that poor guy out of there. Let him live his life comfortably somewhere else. Okay, we're expecting a big voter turnout here in St. Johns County.